Hey guys, Nate, the Otter Outdoorsman here. Today we're going to be talking about hypothermia. I apologize about any background noise. We're kind of experiencing a nor'easter right now, and the crazy guy I am, I decided, you know what, it's perfect weather to film a video about hypothermia. So, to give you a quick idea what a nor'easter is for those of you who aren't in the Northeast, it's like Arctic winds blowing down from the northeast and generally bringing some Arctic winds, generally leading to high winds, heavy rain, or snow, or mix, and it can go on for a couple of days. Sometimes it's what leads to ice storms up here. I'm afraid to go out in them because during the deep part of the winter you can get 2 to 3 feet of snow. Now, weather like this, you gotta be very careful about because, well, it's wet, it's snowing, it's raining, my car was saying it's 32 degrees out. And that all spells one thing to me: hypothermia. Now, essentially what hypothermia is your core temperature dropping below your average core temperature. Everyone's is different, but generally it's 1 to 2 degrees below. And there's a few signs you can use to see if you're getting hypothermia or if someone around you is getting hypothermia. If it's so cold that everyone's shivering, it's not always the ones that are shivering that you need to worry about. It's the ones who are cold and aren't shivering. That's generally a sign that it's getting pretty bad. When you stop shivering, that's your body kind of giving up on trying to stay warm. But there's some other things that you would notice. You'll lose dexterity. Often what I do when in cold weather, either when I'm shoveling or when I'm out hiking, is I do occasional dexterity checks where I know generally rough around how long it takes for me to do it, and I kind of just keep an eye on and see the descent, where I kind of just try and touch each finger of my thumb and I go back and forth as fast as I can. If it starts getting to the point where I'm kind of like, and it's getting tough and fighting every bit of it, then I know it's starting to get worse. Other things are, I'm starting to lose feeling in my toes or my fingers, things like that. There's a bunch of other signs, but those are generally the ones I go off of. You also kind of see their lips are starting to go blue. Those are signs I kind of go off of. There are a few other signs, and I do urge you to look them up. As with any of these type of things, you should do as much research as possible. Now, there's ways of preventing hypothermia, and I'm not going to get into very severe hypothermia, as that is a lesson within itself. So, generally the best way to do it is know the weather conditions. Today I am dressed horribly for this type of weather. I'm in my cotton pants, I'm in my regular shoes, and I'm not wearing gloves. I couldn't find my gloves on the way out the door, so I generally tuck them in my pockets when it gets cold out. Now, I've gotten through the woods without getting hypothermia with this type of clothes setup before, and it's fine if you know how to do layering. I don't recommend you wear cotton pants in a downpour, but if you do, layer. Love of God, layer. So, one of the things is I've, for example, been in deep snow, and I wore kind of like a fleece undergarment underneath, actually these pants, where the pants I'm wearing right now were frozen solid. Now, if I was wearing nothing else but them, my legs would have been really bad condition, but I was wearing a fluffy fleece underneath it, which was helping to make it better. I didn't feel the cold. The only time I ever felt it was when I post-holed and The snow went up my legs. That was miserable. But you should also be wearing things like wool socks in the winter, or essentially on your person, layer. I'm currently wearing this jacket, I have a sweatshirt underneath, and I have a shirt underneath that. On top, I'm wearing my wool fedora, which I've been wearing this type of hat. This is, I think, my second one I've owned, but I've been wearing this for probably about 5-6 years. I've been wearing these type of hats. I've had them in blizzards, I've had them in downpours. I swear by them because, well, they've kept my head dry and warm. They've been warm in the summer. So layering is very important. Some of the other things you should think about is when you're starting to get cold. Generally when I get cold, it's when I'm standing still, like right now. If you notice, I'm kind of jumping around on occasion. It's because I'm trying to keep my body warm. Because I don't have my winter gear out yet, and it's, well, cold out. So what you generally want to do is, if you start to get cold, get moving. I've been in 0-degree weather and sweating because, or I almost started sweating because I was moving, I was grooving, I was doing whatever I needed to get done and moving that. I was actually at one point, I think like 5 to 0-degree weather, I had my sleeves rolled up and my jacket unzipped. And that was because I was overheating. That is a very important part of preventing hypothermia, is if you're moving and you're grooving and you start to get warm and hot, start taking off layers, start undoing layers to allow air in. It may cool you down quickly, but it's better than sweating, because remember the saying, you sweat, you die. So things like that help prevent it. Now, what do you do if you have hypothermia? Well, for one, a good move is to start a fire if you can. But if not, things like a Mylar blanket will help circulate your body heat in. If you have a friend with you, get cuddling. I'm not kidding, cuddle. It'll warm you up. A hot drink, a warm drink. You gotta be careful with putting extremely hot things into you though, because for one, you could put your body into shock. So say you're hypothermic and someone dunks you into a hot bath, your body will go into shock and, well, you can get more damage from doing that. Generally when my hands are frozen after shoveling or after being out in the woods, what I do is I run the water on cool and I actually put my hands in there. Now, the reason why I do that is because it's a cool experiment. After a cold day and your hands are freezing, put the water on cool and just put your hands in there. All of a sudden, you're feeling warm. Now, why is that? It's because your hands, the surface temperature of your hands is lower than the surface temperature of the water. So it makes it feel warm. And then you can slowly increase the temperatures from there. So generally the ways of treating hypothermia is get warm via fire, food, water, like warm water, other layers, other people's body heat. Any bit of heat could save your life. I mean, if you need fire going, I mean, you look around and see what you can find, but if it's wet, hopefully you have something good in your fire kit. Like I carry birch. And I often also have some form of surefire in my kit. It's actually funny because when I was picking this, I set up the shot and realized I'm in front of a sweet birch. Birch bark is also good, but for starting a fire. But I'm not here to teach you about fire. I'm here to teach you about staying warm. The other trick is if you know there's a storm like this coming, maybe think about not going out, or remember to pack extra gear. Set up a tarp so you have a shelter to go away from, or don't go far away. I didn't go too far into the woods for this video because I'm not fully dressed and I don't want to get hypothermic filming a video about hypothermia. That would be ironic. The problem with hypothermia is it's never during the heavy snow that I get it. I've had it a few times, but It's always during the rainy parts where I'm soaked. This type of weather is bad. I mean, I've never really gotten hypothermia during the winter. I've gotten it during fall and spring when we've had downpours, strong winds, heavy rains, and the heat got whipped away from my body. I mean, once when I was in the jungle, I was there during a tropical storm in the middle of the night, and with the heavy winds and the strong rains pouring down on me, I knew I was getting close. So I finished the work that I was doing, and well, I got moving. Me and my sampling partner got moving, and we started to warm up our bodies. Another instance was years ago when I was in Scouts at an event called the Wild West Camporee at Edaville Railroad. That was, it rained for about 3 days. Heavy rain for 3 days. My tent collapsed the second day, which is when they canceled the trip. And a bunch of us were having trouble feeling our fingers. So the Scoutmasters got us some hot cocoa, sat us in the warm car while they took care of some of the other stuff, because the Scouts, we were all starting to get hypothermic from the rain. So remember, it doesn't have to be snowing and cold to get hypothermic. It just has to be, wet and windy. The water tries to equalize its temperature with your body's temperature, and with the wind blowing past you, it pulls the heat away from the water, which cools down your body. And that's why when it's wet out, it's more dangerous to get hypothermia than when it's just pure old snowing. I mean, I've overheated in snowstorms before. So this type of discussion is good to bring up, and I really emphasize you look up ways of treating hypothermia, but I've just given you some basic information about it. Remember, be safe out there. It's starting to get winter. We're already seeing it here in New England. So stay safe, get out there. My name's Nate. I'm the Otter Outdoorsman. This has been about hypothermia. Stay warm and have a good day.